Welcome, everybody, to the Leaders Leading Leaders podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Leaders Leading Leaders podcast. I am your host, John Espinosa. Thanks for joining me today. If you like what you're hearing, please click on that subscribe button. It helps us get the word out to as many people as we possibly can, and ultimately, it reaches our goal of helping others get to where they're going. Today, I want to kick off Season 2 of the podcast. And if you watched any of the Season 1 episodes, a lot of those were introductory, a little bit about me, a little bit about my leadership mindset, and then dove really into, towards the end, into interviewing, which I want to do a lot more of. I really enjoy getting other leaders' perspective for you all, the listeners. And then also it gives me an opportunity to allow you to hear another voice, because a lot of times I know it's tough just listening to a single voice. Hopefully you enjoy it, but I also understand that having that dual-sided, that dichotomy, and even eventually, hopefully in Season 2, I get somebody in the studio here, because I'd love to just more relaxed setting, sit back. That's why I bought these couches and chairs, do a live interview and an in-studio interview. So I'm looking forward to all of that as we progress. And, something that we've always done here on the podcast is to make sure that we're staying up to date, current in any type of leadership mindset. Maybe it's the time of the year. We talked about goal setting at the beginning of the year. Now we're getting into that spring kind of growth period. So for Season 2, I really want to focus on, and our theme is going to be creating an inclusive workspace, work environment period in your team. Maybe you might not be going into the office, physical office. You may be leading teams virtually. You may have teams spread across all geographical areas, or you may just have a couple folks that you go into the office with, so you don't have a very large team. No matter what size, no matter where they are, as a leader, we need to make sure that we're inclusive, and inclusivity includes differencing of opinions, difference of thoughts, different ways of thinking. One of the things as a leader I still take very seriously is how I am perceived and how I perceive myself. And there's blind spots and there's gaps that are associated with that. So we'll get into Season 2 and we'll talk about a lot of that. A lot of the topics are going to center around how we as leaders establish that inclusive workplace. It starts with us. It starts with the leader establishing the culture, the climate, how the individuals interact, your team members interact, how you interact with maybe your peers. So a lot of that comes down to being inclusive, being open-minded, making sure that we're always checking our biases. I think that's another important point to bring. We all have biases. Some are unconscious, some are conscious. And if we bring those out into certain environments and we get somebody and we notice them either pull away, that should be a notification to us as leaders to say, okay, what's going on here? And we begin to dig a little bit deeper and unpeel that, and peel back those layers to make sure that we didn't exclude that individual by what we said or maybe the way that we acted. So a lot of what Season 2 is going to entail is going to be a lead on or getting better at what we're doing, not only on the camera, also on our sessions that I do on the other platforms, TikTok. I try to do some 60-second-ish blurbs on TikTok that just hit a concept, or they may be when I'm out and about and I just got something on my mind. I love to jump on and share those ideas with you. So if you're not following those social media platforms, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, we're on Instagram. Instagram's another one that I love to go live on or post some videos. And then another thing that I'd like to really kick off in Season 2 is more of a behind the scenes. I'll probably do one of those each kind of season, if we were going to call that. And I'm calling it a season because I want to focus on a certain theme for that particular dose of episodes. And we haven't really determined how many episodes will be in a season. However long that it goes and I run out of people to talk to or ideas to share with you all, then we'll create another season, we'll create another episodes, and it'll give it a good way for you all as you're looking back if you're looking for a particular topic to really zone in or hone in on one season and maybe listen to those episodes within that season. So a lot, again, we're going to do this thing messy. This is my first gig at creating a podcast. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you're having a lot of fun listening. As we unpack the inclusive work environment, we will identify characteristics. What do characteristics of an inclusive workplace look like? High trust, high engagement. And it may look different for your organization, but I want you, when you're asking yourself, what does an inclusive workplace look like? Have I worked in an inclusive workplace? We all pull from our experiences. That's the first place that I always pull from. I've worked in a workplace that is excluded. I felt excluded. Others have come to me and said, maybe this isn't the place for me, the team to be on. Whatever was said, the actions of the leader, maybe there's something going on in the team. We'll talk about energy drainers on your teams that can really, suck the energy out of the room, and it can make people feel excluded, especially if we as leaders don't address those individuals. Our mindset when we talk about inclusion, diversity, what are the things as leaders that we think? What are our experiences with environments like that? And then what does a good, inclusive workplace look like, feel like? And you as a leader, what are you comfortable, or probably what are you uncomfortable leading in that particular environment? So I'm really looking forward to unpacking the topics in season 2 and what that has to bring in the interviews that I have lined up for you all. Topics that are going to include having those hard conversations, as I mentioned earlier, virtual and in-person inclusive environments, how to create those as leaders, and then how to have those hard conversations if you do have an environment that some people may feel excluded. Having that leadership mindset, the culture in the organization, the mindset, that starts with us as leaders. And then how do we create that as a leader if we don't have it? Or how do we sustain it as a leader and grow our inclusive work environments? A lot of great things coming to you in season 2. I can't wait for you all to listen. Thank you all for taking the time to invest in yourself. You should be proud of yourself for taking that time away from other things that you could possibly be doing. Thank you for being with me and listening. I appreciate all of you. Go be great. We'll talk to everyone later. Stay tuned for season 2. Bye-bye. If you enjoy what you're hearing, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps us get others to where they're going.